little dot. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just now seeing this, but there's a dot in the sun, and that's not normal. Suns, they don't have dots in them. Let me see. You can't see it in my window, my car window, but wow. And I've seen a dot before. There's a lady by the name of Universal News Media, and she has shown that whenever there is an eclipse going on in the sky of our real sun, they would actually have a different sun take over for that sun, for our sun, so that, and it's blinking. Whoa! The sun is blinking. Oh my, what? And I have it on camera.
What we're seeing right now is a family tragedy playing out in slow motion. The Ruska family has seen their house fall into the river right there. Now it's just a game of waiting and seeing if that store also falls into the river. Expressions of shock filled the east bank of the river as the water swallowed the home.
Dolor, tristeza, resignación por la familia. Es un hijo que se me va, mi primer hijo.
Welcome back to America's Weather Center. This is a live look from a bridge collapse in North Sioux City, South Dakota. That's one of our storm trackers, Brandon Kopic. He's got the camera. He's actually just moving around a little bit. It was a static shot before we went to break. But man, you want to talk about the impacts of flooding? Look at that. And look how fast that water is moving. It's unbelievable, the power of water. When you see it in person, especially, water is just such a scary thing. There's just nothing you can do to stop it in a lot of situations. You know, that's not the only spot that's been affected. Of course, there have been lots of spots across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. It's some drone video out of Spencer, Iowa. This was from yesterday.
emergency has been declared in central New Mexico after wildfires killed at least 2 people and destroyed some 1,400 buildings. This morning, there's a new problem. Heavy storms have caused flash flooding, adding water rescues to the emergency response. Omar Villafranca is at the scene.
It's been one apocalyptic scene after another in the village of Ruidoso. The active South Fork and Salt fires have scorched more than 20,000 acres and destroyed about 500 homes.
It's very devastating.
The wildfires have killed at least 2 people, including 60-year-old musician Patrick Pearson.
I was in shock. I didn't want to believe it.
The fire is burning behind me on those mountains, and on Wednesday we could see the smoke on the mountain and smell it where we are standing. But today we cannot see the smoke, but we do see rain clouds moving into the area.
We're going to stay with the elements because in Greece, residents and tourists have been warned to prepare for extreme weather conditions as parts of the Mediterranean experience severe heat waves, bringing on record temperatures. Aruna Iyengar has more.
Sí, aquí estábamos nosotros y vino, pero de una. Y como acá es bajo, entonces sí nos preocupamos bastante, pues salimos todos para ver si podíamos.
More than 1,000 homes have been damaged as intense wind and rains lash south-central Chile. The government has declared a disaster area for the places worst affected, as people try to come to terms with the destruction caused by this intertropical cyclone.
We are here, trying to move on from everything that happened with the help of God.
Authorities confirm more than 400 families have been evacuated from their homes in 3 regions immediately south of the capital, Santiago. Those living in the hardest hit regions say they've never seen such flooding before.
It rained this year like no other. We've been here for 80 years and older people say it's the first time the river has risen this much.
The heavy rains not only flooded homes but have also cut off roads, leaving people stranded and waiting to be rescued.
To a concerning number of tornadoes. More than 500 have been spotted in the U.S. since April. And there's new evidence tonight that Tornado Alley may be expanding beyond the Midwest. CBS's Dave Malkoff shows us why.
April 2nd, 2024, an EF1 tornado sliced the roof off a funeral home in Sunbright, Tennessee. Noah and Lexi Hamby were next door outside.
We was probably about right here is when it hit us.
He was carrying their 4-year-old. She had their baby in her arms.
I mean, it literally swooped me up off my feet with the baby in my hands. He had me by the hood of my jacket, was like choking me.
Yeah, if she wasn't wearing a hoodie, she'd been gone.
They were trying to find a basement to take cover in a part of the country that's not used to tornadoes. The most likely place in the world for a tornado is right here in Tornado Alley. In fact, look at the 1950s. You can see a clear line right through the center of the country. But if you fast forward to the 2010s, tornadoes don't necessarily stay in their alley anymore. Dr. Timothy Coleman wrote a study released in April after researching tornado locations dating back to the 50s.
The Tornado Alley now in the United States, in terms of the maximum area for tornadoes, is an area from the southeastern U.S., parts of Mississippi, Alabama.
Sydney's northwest is tonight bracing for major flooding as the Hawkesbury-Nepean River swells from the city's latest deluge. The heavy falls have already left our southwest drenched, with some residents forced to leave.
A Mercedes submerged as Menangle Bridge is swallowed by the rising Nepean River. The driver managed to escape unharmed before rescue crews went to make sure no one was inside. Our state emergency service kept busy responding to 39 flood rescues in the past 24 hours.
Take a look at this. This 40-foot wide sinkhole in Marion County, reopened earlier this week, is just south of Knoxville on a gravel road. Last year, Marion County officials said the sinkhole was caused by a limestone mine owned by a nearby quarry.
But during the repair, that quarry discovered something they say proves the sinkhole wasn't their fault. KCCI's Bo Bowman went to Marion County to figure out what could have caused the ground to cave in.
This is video from Rotary Park. You can see taped off sections of trees. The trees snapped in half. I mean, it is incredible just the damage that this storm did. And Mike, I mean, what are you seeing?
You know, just looking at the aerial footage of that, you could actually see the trees moving in opposite directions. And that's one of the things that the National Weather Service will look for. If it's straight line winds, all of the damage will be on the exact same side. In other words, it will all be pushed flat. But when it's a tornadic situation, you might see a tree.
I was focused on flash flooding, which we actually did have some big flash flooding up in northeast Maryland. And we actually had an interesting situation, which you don't rarely have around here. We actually had a situation where there was a tornado warning and a flash flood warning going on at the same time. It's a challenge when you have both tornadoes going on as well as flash flooding, because they both can be very dangerous. Flash flooding can be more widespread, while tornadoes tend to be more focused damage. So it's definitely a challenge to manage these multi-hazard type events. And it just worked out where we had a lot of heavy rain occurring over the same area, on top of some of these like embedded circulations that had signs of a potential tornado. So it doesn't happen.
أنا كنت موقف هنا سبحان الله انظر كيف.
Texas couple took a wrong turn and ended up saving a man's life. The driver of the red truck seen in this video accidentally ended up in a heavily flooded drainage ditch after severe weather swept across the Houston area on May 28th. And when Robert Chance and his girlfriend Renee Young stumbled upon him, they found his truck almost totally submerged.
side.
Immeasurable desperation, digging to find loved ones as hopes of rescues become tasks of recovery. We will not give up, says this former local politician. Only 6 bodies have been recovered so far. These people are digging despite the dangers. Authorities in Papua New Guinea say Friday's huge landslide that engulfed a village may not be over yet.
My team that were actually at the site yesterday, they said they could even feel the ground moving under them and the ground moving around them.
People in the area are being warned they need to get ready to leave. Alongside the threat of another landslide, drinking water is being contaminated as it flows down through what may be hundreds or even 2,000 bodies. No one is sure.
This is Reichertshofen, a Bavarian market town of around 8,000 people next to the river Paar. Except that now much of it is in the river Paar, because days of heavy rain have made it burst its banks and flood many of the houses.
you.